All right, what's poppin', Tub Nation? I'm back. Welcome to Tub Takes. This is a video podcast where we go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene. Today, I am joined by Luka.
Hello.
We've also got June.
Hello.
And is he finally ready?
I'm here.
All right, we got
Hello,
Adi.
everyone.
We got Adi. Adi making sure to take the biggest bite of food right as we were getting ready to go. And so I had to introduce him last.
I'll add it.
Yeah. Make sure to stay hydrated. I've been sipping, but not 2 seconds before showtime. Anyway, I already explained it, but it's like a video podcast. We're gonna be talking about tournaments and stuff. We're gonna be talking about upcoming tournaments, past tournaments, the metagame in general. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to leave questions in the Twitch chat, and we'll respond to them. And any other updates on the circuit. We're also going to be posting this on YouTube in 2 days. We uploaded on Wednesday on Adi's channel, CK49. There it is in the Twitch chat. Hopefully I have the Twitch chat up. I can't remember. I thought I usually had that set. Yeah, no, it's working. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. With that, then, we're going to go ahead and launch into it and start talking about some of the upcoming tournaments, just knocking that out really quick. Notably, this is like the first coming weekend where there isn't like a major official something, which I imagine has been quite the ride for several people. I think Paul Chua said that he did the full 5-week span. I know some other people did. Did Z? I think maybe Z.
I think Z did, but I don't think she played in this GC.
You're right. I think Z skipped this GC.
Yeah, because she got her Worlds invite, so she didn't have to.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm referring to is back a couple weeks there was what started it off? Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte Regionals was 5 weeks ago, and then right after it was Fort Wayne, and then right after Fort Wayne was the Global Challenge, and then right after the Global Challenge was EUIC, and then right after EUIC was the second Global Challenge. And then we finally get a break weekend. Some people played in all of those. I mean, just imagine what they've been going through.
If there's anything to fill this gap, it would be this. Then, wait, would Portland be right after that one? Or after this break?
Oh,
yeah, and then the third GC.
Yeah,
and then I think it would be Hartford, right?
Is Hartford right after Portland? I actually don't know.
No, it's not. I think it'd be right after the in between with the third GC.
No,
the third GC. The weekend of Portland.
Oh, right. I forgot. Oh, man. Some people in Portland are getting screwed over with that.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting, especially since the 3GCs, despite being pretty consolidated, and obviously Luka, I know you popped off in both of them. You don't have to play the third one. You're chilling as far as points goes.
This is news to me. I didn't know there was a 2 BFL.
It is a 2
BFL, yeah.
Interesting.
So it only takes your top 2 finishes. However, if you are, I don't know, a god gamer like Luka right here, and you think you're going to pop off at all the remaining events you go to, then you probably still play them because you can win a stipend, and there's still only a BFL of 2 for the stipend, and so it's going to count towards the Latin American International, presumably stipend next year. So,
yeah.
But I do think a lot of people who are maybe gotten their 2 finishes are going to relax a little bit. I think Japan. If you are a Japanese player or a Korean player, you already have your invite to nationals. Maybe you're relaxed there too. And so I do think that normally, and also everyone's going to Portland, can't really try hard. And so wouldn't shock me if the third one is the easiest GC of the bunch.
It's gonna be whack. We'll get to talking more about the GCs later. I think that's coming up soon. But let's knock this out really quick. We have, it's a filler weekend, so the Grassroots are it's time, let's get back in the scene. I think, was it Rose Tower tried to do 2 tournaments, the same, it was they did one GC1, and then they tried to do one again GC2, and I don't even know if those tournaments fired off.
They had 22 people in this past weekend.
Okay, so maybe it did actually fire off. I think it was the one that was on GC1's weekend that it got 9 people and didn't even play. Kind of nuts. I mean, you can't compete with Pikachu. If Pikachu says you're playing Pokemon, you're playing Pokemon with Pikachu. So,
some people's got to get their fix,
Exactly. It's it's an addiction. So Victory Road posted that they have a tournament here with a entry fee of $10, and so prizes based on attendance. So this one's actually going to probably have some like realish prize money on top of it if you want to get some good practice in, and if it gets a good number of entrants, then this would definitely be a solid tournament for people who haven't gotten enough of a Pokemon fix lately. If you're really that desperate, there's this for you. Nino, I think, is also hosting one. I thought it was like Sunday or something. Sunday only.
That is just Sunday, 1 day tournament, and it's a $200 prize money with free entry. So
Not
either
bad.
if you bomb out of if you really want to play Pokemon, you bomb out of Victory Road, you can play that, or
Right.
in my case, I think I have a local on Saturday, so I'm gonna just be playing if I'm still in the mood for Pokemon afterwards.
Is that a grassroots or is it official?
My local? No. We still don't have official tournaments yet. This
Right,
is still
yeah.
the last week of April. So the last weekend without official tournaments, and we got a local then too. So
Okay. Yeah, when I heard about the event June was running, I was like, PCs are starting up already? Okay.
I
Uh,
wish. I
Yeah.
definitely wish it was a PC.
You'll be
With
running
the
them, right?
amount of people. Yeah, definitely. There's just some issues. I just hope I can have a venue in time, or else
that
I
is
might
an
have to
important
go
thing.
like be a mercenary, go to other people's venues, host the PC for them.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
gotcha.
trying
Yep.
to-
yeah, I saw on Twitter. I think Lucy was saying that the MIT League was also shut down because they didn't want locals being hosted at universities anymore.
That's honestly
Interesting.
like
Really?
very crazy to me because there's like I feel like universities are just like one of the best places to host these premier challenges. Like I
Mhm.
know back in the day there's like University of Texas used to have PCs and mid seasons as well. So like
Mhm.
getting
Yeah.
rid of those just gets rid of like big areas that people can just congregate and just have these like really nice events at.
Yeah, one of the huge
Yeah,
PCs in my area was at the Ohio State University. Like, that'd be like the central, that's like right in the center of Ohio. So like, everyone came up to there, and it'd be like one of our biggest PCs of the season would be whenever they hosted over there. So I can't imagine it not being like at universities or anything like that.
and especially now with Scarlet and Violet being Pokemon being more mainstream than ever, a lot of people picking it back up during the pandemic. I think a lot of college students are playing. Just got back into it, and I don't know. When I was a college student, I was not going more than a mile away from campus for anything. You had to like, a lot of people don't have cars. A lot of people like just don't want to take the time to go somewhere, and so yeah, no, having it on a university campus where it is so accessible to this huge youth population, a lot of whom are now just getting into Pokemon, just getting into VGC, are excited to try it out, is a really really, I mean, it's a blessing to the game. It introduces so many people to VGC. I know our locals here in Austin, shout out Pixelhaven, they are just off of campus at UT, and so a lot of I mean, just for grassroots, we're getting to about 20 people per local, and and a lot of those are just college students who just happen to show up. So I think that's really really important, and I'm
excited to see
kind
what
of
it's
sad
gonna
that
be
they've
like.
taken away from that.
I'm excited to see what numbers we're gonna get with official locals. Then I mean, June had 58 at this grassroots. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So many people signed up. I like the last time I held like a grassroots back at Rutgers, or actually a mid season back at Rutgers, I only hit like a barely above 32 people, so I barely had enough people for 6 rounds. Here, I actually had 53 of the 58 people that registered come out. Like that, like I was like super surprised, and like when I looked at how much table space I had to request more tables,
yeah,
get more chairs out because that like there's just so many more people.
That's good though. That's good.
it is.
Yeah,
It is
it's
awesome.
really good. It's
Yeah.
like I was like so happy to see all those people. Like just like a lot of them was their first time. I interviewed a lot of them, like how they found out about the tournament too. It's through the USPA discords, and some were university students, and some were like super happy. Like, oh, there's this my first event. I was a Rutgers student. I heard through my club, or I came from New York City. I came from Philadelphia. I heard it from the state Discord. Just kind of came out and try playing.
That's awesome.
It's
That is
great.
so awesome. I'm so excited. This is getting me so excited for locals again. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
so. I don't know how much I'll be attending, but I know that Chicago's got like a good scene of locals, and so there's gonna be like a couple being hosted. I know that Ohio's got a great scene.
Yeah. Well, I just can't wait because I always use locals to test really stupid stuff. So I'm excited to just be able to test stupid stuff without risk. Because
It
with
is fun to
region,
do
you don't
that.
like you don't have a chance to at regionals. At regionals, you got to bring the best stuff that you got forward, or else you're not going to perform well. But at locals, there's less stress. There's not as much risk on the line. You can just kind of have fun.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like it feels like every team that I build nowadays has to be this perfect thing. Whereas like back when we had locals, it was like, all right, this is good enough. Let's try it out at the local level. Let's
Yeah.
find out the problems are in a live setting, and maybe improve upon it. Maybe it was just for memes. Maybe it was just a funny thing. But like you can't just screw around at a regional. Like you're paying $70 on top of like traveling across the country to get there. When it's a local, you're driving ideally like an hour or less, and then you're just hanging out playing some stupid Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's also done in one day too, and that's like a big thing. You barely have to like. It's so much less of a commitment. You don't have to get a hotel. You don't have to get anything like that. You just pop in, play the tournament, drive back. Your day's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do we have any word what they're gonna do for team sheets? Is it gonna be closed team sheet? Is it gonna be open?
Oh,
I
to-
heard.
So
Isn't it two? You guys did two team sheets, right? Or yeah,
yeah.
you had one you write for the tournament itself, and then one you give to your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
correct. So if you
Yeah.
go over through like the Pokemon rules resources website and the team sheet, it literally has you print out two team sheets, and one specifically has the stat line, and the other is just no stats on it. It's just moves. And there's a lot of complaints from players that they had to write
Yeah.
twice. Like
Yeah.
some people are saying this is the most I've ever written since like college and school. So I really feel bad.
hmm
I feel like
Oh.
just as a tournament organizer pet peeve,
Mm.
I think so the people that had to come late and generate their team sheet, it kind of had to stole the tournament a little bit.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
really recommend pre-filling in your team sheets if you can. It saves both my time and it saves your hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty
Uh,
reasonable.
So
yeah.
June, as a judge, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, so this is the first time that we're going to play with handwritten team sheets. I've been to a couple
Mhm.
grassroots locals, and I've never had a problem with reading my opponent's team sheet. But like, people's handwriting are not great. Like
I'm
my
excited.
handwriting
Yeah.
isn't great either.
I'm
Yeah.
What do you
excited.
do if someone hands you a team sheet and you're like, I don't know if like I can read this. You got to squint at it.
I've
Yeah.
actually never encountered that problem, but my first say my first instinct is to do like talk to that person, figure out what what the written thing is supposed to be, and rewrite that specific thing for them, just so it's legible not only to that person, to yourself, but legible to at least their opponents that they'll be playing.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
I think one thing that's going to be important at local levels, I mean, it is less serious than a regional, and so like, one that like at the regional level, when you're handing your team sheets to each other, I think the like latest time that you can do it is like at team preview, and people are entitled to do it whenever they want. I've done it at team preview sometimes, and sometimes I've done it earlier, but I think it might be important at the local level to hand it over earlier, just so that both players can have a chance to look through and be like, if they have any questions, and say like, "Hey, I can't read this. Like, this is just terrible. What are you trying? What is this? Fire blast? Is this flamethrower? Like, how am I mixing this up?" But I think that might have to be the solution. Is just like handing team sheets earlier, so that both players get a chance to like peruse and just make sure like that everything is legible.
Mm.
yeah, most definitely.
But anyways,
But
kind
I
of
mean, it
getting.
sounds like
Go ahead.
you had a 50 odd person local, and there were no issues with that. I've been to a couple 20-person locals. We haven't had an issue with that. So all things considered, that's a pretty decent sample size of people, and haven't had any issues with handwriting. So that's like pretty good. That's
Plus,
reassuring.
it's since most people are really nice about that. If they like see a mistake, like, oh, I'm sorry, let's like rewrite that or something. And since locals are like not as like stressful or official, you can just kind of like you're like, oh yeah, we'll just like write that down. That's a mistake, and now and everyone knows for the rest of the tournament. Like even if something comes up, it's usually not that big of an issue. Like it gets solved pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely, especially with like how friendly this community is. It's just everyone's just so helpful, as you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've said it a couple of times. I'm just so excited for locals to come back. They're just a very important part of the community, and
Yeah,
it'll
I agree.
like just hearing how many people got to experience their first tournament at this event. Like just think about that across the whole like world. That's going to be so exciting. Speaking of, though, we have other events that were announced upcoming, special events. So, this is definitely ringing some bells for Adi. Adi is, as soon as I saw this posted, I was like, can't wait for Adi to find out. Oh, man. But yeah, we got some special events in Latin America. I think this is pretty welcome news considering what they recently learned about Premier Challenges. I think a lot of the countries in Latin America were learning that because of the way that Nintendo Switch Online works with like local laws, I guess, they can't host Premier Challenges down there. I can't say I fully understand it.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, that's.
But
It's not local laws, right? It's that you don't have Nintendo Online for whatever reason. Like it's not.
I know, but
like,
I guess like what I'm saying is like they don't have access to it for like some reason. Like,
right. Yes.
And I imagine that like it's based on like something to do with like a law in the country, maybe is what I'm trying to say, or I don't know. I can't say for sure. I mean, this is just speculation. I don't really know. What I do know is that there's an issue with like having Nintendo Online access in certain Latin America countries that will not let them host locals. And so because of that, it is kind of nice to see that they have access to other means of earning championship points. Here we have some special events. I think they've previously only had 2 regionals. I don't know if they were both regionals or if they were both, if one of those is a special event or other, but I know Natal had one and there might have been another one somewhere.
Santiago,
I
think.
Okay. But now we've got one in Argentina, Colombia, and Peru. All coming up in May, 2 of them on the same weekend, and yeah, one of them's listed as 1 day. I wonder if they're actually going to run it as a 1-day tournament, or 2 of them are.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. Well, no. So it really depends on attendance, but I think most of the special events back in like 2019 that I remember, 2018, 2019 were all 1-day events, and like there is a separate section of the rulebook that says 2-day VG events and 1-day VG events, and so. If you do a 1-day event, you can't just do it. It is the same structure that we used to have where top cut is on the same day. But I imagine that those events, they are limiting capacity to a pretty small amount, probably, under 100 players, because they do want to run the event in 1 day and not have it go on forever.
Okay.
But the special event that I went to in Mexico in 2019 was a 1-day event.
If you guys click the link in the tweet that pulls you up to the actual like Pokemon.com page, I'm noticing here that, and this isn't announced because, Nimbasa City is a VGC website, but it seems that Colombia is hosting 2 special events, 1 TCG only and 1 VG only. And I think that is super interesting. I don't know if that's going to set any types of precedents going forward, but it's just something that I haven't really heard of being done. We've definitely seen some TCG only events being done, not even before the like before we had that break period. I think there was some TCG only, maybe special events or what have you. This is
Latin American Internets was also only TCG only, which is also why this is really good for Latin American players.
True.
They didn't have an IC.
They didn't even have an internet.
That kind of sucks. Yeah.
And I wonder how much of this is just like venue space, right? These are not special events, are especially in Latin America, are very different from your traditional regionals. They are not they are organized by and large by like 1 or 2 organizers, and they don't have the entire like Pokemon company behind them, and so they are kind of limited by finding their own venue space and stuff like that, finding sponsors. Again, I went to the one in Cancun in 2019, and what happened with that was a crazy story. It got I booked my tickets out there, and I was going to fly out with a couple of SoCal players, and they got canceled because the the tournament organizer was not from Cancun, and they were not getting the sign-up numbers they expected, and so their sponsors pulled out, and they were like, "Well, we're not gonna, we don't, if we don't have sponsors, we can't afford to host this, so we're not going to do it." And then the TO who used to host the Cancun special event, who was banned from TPCI for something, stepped in and was like, "Yo, I know Cancun. I'm from Cancun. Let me help you host it." And so it got back together like the last minute, and so none of my like friends from the US were going because it was like a last minute thing. I already booked my tickets. I was going regardless. But so that's like sort of the reality of hosting a special event, is that they follow a very different set of rules than hosting a regional. They are meant for areas that are underserved by regionals, as compared to European special events that are meant for areas that cannot host regionals due to gambling laws. And as a result, like they, one, are generally a lot smaller, although that's changing nowadays. And two, they are hosted in one day because they are restricted by like stuff like venue space and stuff like what can the host afford to rent out, how much space can they afford to rent out, what's the expected participation. So I do think it makes a lot of sense that there's TCG one day and VGC on the next day, or not necessarily back to back, but like in different weekends, because they might only have enough venue space to do one of those events in each weekend.
That is actually really interesting to learn. So that is very much like a region-specific thing that seems to be happening here.
I had no idea about the gambling laws thing. That makes a lot of sense, though.
Oh, that's just how special events have worked for a while, and that's why like the main difference between them is prize money or not, because they can.
Yeah.
If they don't give away prize money, they can still host it. Yeah.
So my understanding in Italy, for example, which only hosts special events and no regionals, I was told that Italy has a law saying that when you have signups for a tournament that you have to pay to enter, you have to tell people what the pricing is going to be when they sign up.
Yeah.
And of course, regionals have varying amounts of prize money based on the number of attendance. And so those two things don't match, which is why Italy has only special events. I can't speak for the rest of the countries in Europe, some of which have specials, some of which have regionals, but I know that for Italy at least.
Super interesting just how different. I don't know. It's just so different around the world. Okay. So yeah, special events coming up, 3 of them. This is going to be really good for the Latin American rating zone. Get a lot of more opportunities. Looks like you won't be able to attend all 3 unless you're, somehow. I don't know if you could be in Peru and Colombia at the same time.
No. Hey, one's only on Sunday. You can go on Saturday, make top cut, drop, and go on Sunday to another event.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? I see. You're right. Okay, that works.
So, if you decide that this top cut's too stacked, you're like, okay, that's it. I'm dropping. I'm gonna go this one. We're gonna go this one right now.
Man. All right, wait.
And
Luka,
go ahead.
When did you start playing VGC?
I started all the way back in 2014.
Okay,
when I was a
you were
senior.
playing back then when the regionals were clumped on the same weekend. Back when we had like.
Oh yeah. Like they're like it'd be the PC the day before the regional, and then it'd be the regional itself all in one day.
Yeah.
Like I just remember that I think it was like Fort Wayne 2014. We just went there. We started like I don't even know 10 a.m. We finished at like the sun was still out. We finished at like 5 p.m. or something like that, and we just like drove home. I came home the next day, like on the exact same day. I was like, in a lot of ways, I do sometimes miss that old structure because it was so fast. It has some nostalgia factor to it, but I do really like how things are more official nowadays. Still,
I remember somebody managed to make it to during the block when there was like a regional being hosted in like Florida and somewhere else on the East Coast, and somebody managed to make it to both. It might have been Zach Drocomp. I can't remember if he was the one to do it.
That does seem like a very Zach thing to do.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
But yeah, it's just like all of our events are so much like more spaced out now, so you're able to just attend everything if you want to. But not the case here for these special events. And yeah, the only like time we've seen events line up is whether it's like the Global Challenge in Portland or like a special event in Europe and a regional in NA. But other than that, usually we don't have any what's the word, conflicts get like that.
So in 2019 we had one, or 2020, sorry, we had one. with Collinsville Regional was the same weekend as a special event in Puerto Rico, which is part of the NA rating zone. So we
Okay.
actually had two regionals in North America at the same time.
Mhm.
And I think that the Puerto Rico event was all in one day. And it actually, okay, I might be misremembering. 'Cause I know Sohaib and went to it. I know James Eakes won the event. I'm pretty sure that Puerto Rico event was on the Sunday and Collinsville started on Saturday, which meant they
Mhm.
were in different formats on the same weekend.
Oh.
Wow.
It-
I
and
remember
so-
this. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
wild.
we were joking about playing Collinsville on Saturday and then flying out to Puerto Rico to play on Sunday. I don't think anyone actually did it. It was a pretty small event, but
Mhm.
it would have been very funny to see that.
Okay, so special events coming up. That's gonna be good. Good.
I do want to
May.
point out, I
Mhm.
tweeted about this. I was looking at fights because I always look at fights every time they announce an event, and
Mhm.
and I was saying, like if we have Mexican special events, I'm gonna go there. I live in Texas, and so I'm pretty close
Mhm.
to the Latin American rating zone. Um, and flights to Bogota are just the same price as flights to Fresno. I'm not gonna do Bogota, but and people were hitting me up asking like, "Are you doing Bogota?" And I'm just like, no, but like if I
No.
was in the day 2 race, if I was like really trying hard, I'd consider going to the what was probably going to be like an 80-person special event over the 400-person regional,
Mhm.
and pay the extra $100 or whatever. Because honestly, like Spirit Airlines flies there, so it's like reasonably cheap to get there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that is wild. I was looking at like the Fresno, like the amount of players that are signing up, and it's I think it is due part that like Fresno is probably a harder location to get to than a lot of the other.
Oh.
Oh.
Luka, you there? Hello, 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 hello.
It's not me this time.
It's not
Can't
on
believe it.
That's true.
I actually just assumed that it was my internet that cut out.
Regional,
And that's why I
but
couldn't
it's a lot
hear.
lower than like it is weird to say that like is it good?
All right. Hello. Yes.
Am I there?
Oh,
I
hello,
think you're
hello.
back.
Okay. I'm here. I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know what that was. But what I was saying is I think it's like weird that like it's crazy to say that even though Fresno's like at near 300 people, that's like the smallest regional we've had so far in the US, when I know if it was like last year, that'd be a crazy regional. That would have been like an insanely big regional.
Yes.
Like and like nowadays that's like so low. I think that's so crazy. I think that's like such a good thing that like we've come so far in terms of numbers and all
It's
that.
awesome.
I was in Daytona 2019 for the 64-man regional.
Yeah.
I was there, man. Like
I
we
think Fresno's gonna blow up though. Like not blow up a lot, but I think that it's gonna at least see like 100 more, maybe 100 plus more people getting in there. Just like there's gonna be so
Mhm.
many desperation books on that one, like NA people who want to lock up that Worlds invite. And I mean I don't think anybody's gonna do what they did last year, where it was like what people came to Milwaukee and stayed in the U.S. until NAIC, because those are like a week apart. I think these are like 3 weeks apart or
Yeah.
something, so it's not really
Yeah.
feasible. But
Mhm.
I still think that you might even see people from other rating zones coming to this one because, again, they want to lock up that Worlds invite.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is just being towards the end of the season. It
Mhm.
really, it's just going to have that factor to it, because nobody likes to leave it just down to NAIC. That's just too stressful.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Like
Especially West Coast players, they have Portland regionals coming up a week from next or 2 weeks from now. And so a lot of them are gonna, I assume, if you don't do well at Portland and you need to get your Worlds invite, you need a certain number of points. That's the regional that you're probably going to. Although honestly, if you live in Seattle or something, Milwaukee still might be cheaper. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
I was planning on going to Fresno, and I'm flying out to Los Angeles and driving with some friends up there. So that's like the route: flying to Los Angeles, flying to San Francisco, Sacramento, that type of periphery of California, and then doing the 3-hour drive. It seems like the way that a lot of people are going to be approaching it.
Mm.
Fresno isn't real. Okay, so before we move on to talking about the global challenge, I'm going to ask one last question. This is not an opinion question. It's more of a matter of fact, because I just can't remember. When did the Premier Challenges start? Is it May?
Yes.
It's the beginning of May. Yeah.
Okay, so like, could one be hosted on like the first day of May? I don't know what day that is.
I want to say yeah.
Or like not
I
the
think
first day, but
technically,
like,
yeah.
what's the first weekend in May? Like the 6th.
Yeah, Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is
You
that?
could
Yeah.
host a Premier Challenge on a Monday. Yes.
Yes, any day of the week.
I mean,
any
yeah,
time
there's nothing stopping
on
But
them.
no one's gonna do that though.
So I think Portland does. I think Portland has a Premier Challenge. That is that something that's been talked about yet?
Are we actually bringing back
Really?
regional premier challenges? Please tell me we
Oh,
are.
Please do. That'll be really
I've never
cool.
done them, but mostly because Chicago has a really good scene. Why would I play in these sweaty Premier Challenges when I have like access to
Yeah.
plenty? But
Like,
I don't know.
I-
You
I
mentioned
think premier
Fort Wayne
challenges are so
earlier.
hype.
You mentioned
Oh
Fort Wayne
yeah.
earlier, Fort Wayne 2015. I played in the Premier Challenge the day before that one, and it was like 100 people. It was like
Yeah.
so big.
Well, That's because everyone that's gonna play at the regional is gonna be at the premier
They're
challenge.
gonna
you know?
they're gonna be there on
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah. So like, I kind of love playing in like these 100 man like plus, like just as stacked at the regional level tournaments, presumably using the same exact team they're going to use the next day because like that's what you practice with. Why not?
Yeah.
And the winner's going to get 30 championship points and like nothing else. Like I kind of love that.
I actually made it to top 8 of that like 100 person Premier Challenge the day before, but I was not using my regionals team. I was like, I've got this stupid round team that I wanted to use. Is round even in the game anymore? I feel like maybe.
I think it is. It's just there's like no one to abuse it with besides Sylveon maybe.
Yeah. You can't put it on Roaring Moon because that's just a stupid 60 base power.
Yeah.
It's not Aerial 8.
You'd think.
Okay, so let's move on to talking about the GC here. The results are like out. They already kind of like not like the CP isn't in people's accounts yet and stuff like that, and people don't know exactly where they finished. But
No.
Bravarius again already doing the work, kind of doing some good approximating. None of this is official. You gotta make sure, like Zach, I believe removed all of the Asian region carts, but there's also people that maybe could have duplicated, played on 2 carts. There's also people that maybe didn't sign up for play Pokemon events or whatever you have to do to connect your account. So this is all just approximations, but we do know for certain who won. Let me find that tweet. Agati. I mean, coming off second at a Interats at EUIC, and is not done. It's not done showing everybody the word that is Palance, and goes on to win this thing. I don't know if he mentioned record anywhere, if that was posted in another.
Dude was like a ninja. Like legit, there's nothing written at all in tweets or anything until I didn't know anything about how his record was until like the results came out, and I just see like his name up there. I'm like, that makes sense, but it's just so funny that like no one knew anything about this.
Yeah, he's just sneaky like that. 35-8, he did end up saying. So holy, I mean, quite the record. And I gotta say, like, a lot of people were saying it in the replies and stuff. So this is like an original thought, but like the fact that he's done so well in a open team sheet best of 3 tournament into closed team sheet best of 1 just goes to show like the merit of 1, the team, and 2, the player. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, he's insane. Like actually insane.
Gotta give respect to that. But somebody thought, I'm just reading chat now. Somebody thought I meant like an all-round Pokemon team. No, round is a move. I don't know if people know about that move.
Yeah.
Round is Fuecoco gets round. That's great. Yeah, round is like a 60 base power sound normal type move that like if another Pokemon uses round, they get to immediately follow up with round, and it's doubled in power. It's mainly usable on Pokemon with the Pixelate type abilities like Sylveon. Sylveon's a good example of it because it's a slow Pokemon and you pair it with a fast partner. I'm not going to talk more about round though. I can't get carried away with round.
No.
So Zach posted the approximate ratings. Liberty Note also has the finishes for several players as like they kind of just like comb Twitter and see who publicly says what their results are, as well as like wait a minute, that's actually insane. I did not know that Cobalt got second and third. What the heck?
I thought that was an error, but I think they like legit just on their second and third cards just went crazy. Like on their first to
Why
second
didn't they go for the
cards.
win though?
Jeez.
Maybe they thought they
Maybe
had
they thought
the
they
win.
had
Well,
it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like
Or were they
and
out
also
of
like
games?
well, I mean,
No, 34 and
I
9
don't.
is. I mean, 32 and 7, 34 and 9 is what they said. So no, they had games. They should have gone for the dub. I guess it doesn't mean anything though for them, right? I mean, bragging rights.
I guess it'd be bragging rights, but like I think saying he got second and third, I think that's good enough to like
That's
keep
true.
it there.
That is
and
pretty
like
dope.
to say you filled up 2 of the top 10.
We already talked about Agati. Desu got fourth. I actually saw him park fourth, like with 4+ hours left. So surprised not to see like him drop like one spot, just like one. But no, I mean he does have a good. What is that? Like 8 points. 8's not nothing when you're that high up. On the next person, and was streaming most of his runs. So if you're seeing that team and is like, that's dope, you should go check it out because I was watching it and I was like, this is dope. Yeah, Desu's was warming it up. Really awesome. Luka, where are you? Here you are, down in 9th. So you probably get. Are you getting top 4 or top 8 from what you've heard?
I believe I did the math and I'm 6th, so it should be top 8.
I guess, yeah, I'm seeing Azulite here, Desu, Agati. Those are all players in CP earning rating zones. If there's one other person, then yeah, you're so you're looking to get top 8 then?
Yeah,
so I don't remember how much
it was
is
top 8 in
next?
the first, top 8 in the first one and top 8 in the second one too. So should be that's 80 points I think for each, so 160.
God damn. That's a well, that's a win in one of them, and that's also like, what is that at the regional level, like second place?
That's second place at regional, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, Geo made a deep run.
Geo made a deep run. He got 10th, and then here's the crazy thing, to me at least, is that we talked about, or we may not have talked about today, that the Japanese players and Korean players, they just need to get I think top 150 for Japan to get in Japan to get their invite to Japan National. So they don't really have an incentive to push any higher than they need to. Don't take any risks. Between number 11 and number 150, there are 3 non-Japanese, non-Chinese, and non-Korean cartridges.
Wait, say that again. Between what is it?
Between number 11 and 150, there are a total of 3 people who are from Western countries.
That's kind of insane.
They really
like,
do.
The top 10 is just Western players, or more or less, and then everyone to 150 except for like Sohive, Joe, and one other person who I forgot is Japanese or Korean.
So they just know, like they park it. They want to qualify. I mean, it is
Yeah.
so different. I was waiting earlier. I was going to bring this up when we were talking about the GC, but I wanted to make sure I waited until we got to, you know, talking about the GC in full. But
Yeah.
with the state that they are right now, it feels like these are more competitive than ever, and I kind of love it. I mean, like, I know that the tournaments have this kind of infamy, because, like, you know, like, it's best of one memes, blah blah blah. But like, there is so much on the line. Like, we're all competing for now 160 points, and at the same time, Japan is competing for their world circuit, and it's just like it is just we're both fighting so hard for so much on the line. It's awesome. It's actually incredible, and like, we're seeing really good players making really good runs, and going all out. It is just so crazy. I think there was a similar stat to what Adi just mentioned in the first one, where let me see if I can find the old one from Zach. But is this the last one? April 10th. Yeah. So global challenge cutoffs. It was like something like, yeah, here, top 8, 18th place, and then top 16, 169th place. Like, just like, they just park. And honestly, that's like, it makes sense.
That's fair. Like, there's really no reason to. And like, when I see like Japanese players way out there, I'm like, do you need to be this high? Like, I think you're good.
I think you're good.
I think you're good.
I mean, the thing is, like, it would be nice. This is different than Players' Cup, right? Because Players' Cup, there was actually a little bit of an incentive, right? Players' Cup, you got seeded, right? Not that the seeding mattered that much, I guess, but
okay.
So
Players' Cup 1, we didn't know anything about how it was structured, right? We just knew we had to qualify, and so and part of it was we didn't know what the bar was going to be, so it was a little. I think people maybe overshot a little in Players' Cup 1, but then the buys were given out randomly. The buys were given out to whoever didn't show up, that seed was just empty. And so I remember
Yeah.
I was like the 160th seed or something, and I got a bye round 1 in Players Cup 1. And then in Players Cup 2, they changed it. And so going into Players Cup 2, no one knew there was incentive to do well. And then they gave out buys to the top players. Players Cup 3, I remember I was like, oh, I want to buy. A buy is huge in double elim, and I tried really hard, and I got my buy. I was like 12th in North America or something, and got the buy into which is great, And then Players Cup 4, they went to Swiss, so there were no buys, and so there was exactly one Players Cup where there was an incentive that we knew about to do well in the tournaments. Other than that, there was really no incentive to do well other than get your invite to Players Cup.
Oh, that's so wonky.
I love it. I like something about I think like Donald has said this for a varying degree of reasons, mostly referring to like actually playing Pokemon, but he just always says like Pokemon is the perfect game. And I think it really is because of just like how like random and like weird all these different qualification methods are, on top of like the game having so much weird depth to it. Like it's just like because because we have this official circuit, we have to do so many things different than like other esport groups that are mostly run by Grassroots. Like they listen to the players, they do things that like make sense, whereas like we're always just listening to big Pokemon, and they say like, this is how we're doing it this time, and then they're gonna they don't follow any pattern. It's beautiful. Like you can't really know what's coming next because they're going to change the rules on you. It's just I'm getting lost in what even point I'm trying to make. But what I'm trying to say is that like Pokemon is just so lawless, and I think it's awesome.
I think even within the content of the game itself, that's true. Like, let's say like you wouldn't be surprised to see like, let's say Wolf win another regional, but you also wouldn't be surprised if he lost to just some guy in round 4. You'd be like, well, I'd expect Wolf to win, but that's not surprising. Like if he played out his mind, he had some weird tech, something like that. Like there's no other like esport that's like, it's like if like there was like a Smash major and like a big top player lost in like their pools, people would be like crazy, like who's this player? Who's this guy that beat this guy? But like in Pokemon, it'd just be like, yeah, surprising, but all right.
And it's about overcoming that like that's what the consistent players like have to overcome, that like slimmer. Like we can't force margins as big, and so the players that are able to do that are the best of the best.
I mean, Alex, you were saying that in calling yesterday, right? You were like, yeah, Edu went like what 2-3, started at 2-3 at EUIC, and it's like, man, like it is a little reassuring to know that even a world champion can have a bad tournament, because it makes you feel a little like
it is like
a little less self-conscious when you have a bad tournament, because we all have one at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, it is just I think like Donald said, it's a beautiful game. It's just like there's just it's awesome. I was enjoying watching a lot of it. I didn't play any of this GC, I should mention. We saw Luka popped off. I mean, for people that are tuning into Tub Takes now and they're like, where was the big stream? We did like a 22-hour stream last time. Well, I have no incentive to play the game. Nails messed up signups. He actually was like, can I sign up afterwards? We were like, no. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like racing against the clock. He had to like find his Switch and he couldn't or something. It was bad.
Man.
Audie, you ended up playing.
I signed up with a team that I kind of just threw together. I did actually started out really well, and I was like, this is crazy. And then and man, I did not do well on Sunday. I got DC'd. I just played poorly. I don't know. I got caught by multiple Storm Drain Tatsugiri. That was a thing in the tournament.
Let's go.
Oh no!
I mean, this was the time for it, right?
Oh
this
no!
Gotta be the time for it.
Yeah.
Luka, did you face any Storm Drain Tots? You think? Did you face any Storm Drain Tots?
Storm Drain Tot? No, I didn't fight any. I mean, even if they all the Dozo I fought were like just regular, like as regular as Dozo can get in the IC. But like the Tatsu won the Dozo's mouth at the end of the day, and that's all that really mattered.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I stopped with. My first 14 games I was 13-1, and then I had a DC. And the next 15 games I probably went like 500, and it was just like, I don't feel like playing this out. So I might have gotten some points, but like I'm comfortable with my World's Invite, and so I didn't really have a
Yeah.
reason to keep stressing out. I was prepping for my new video that's coming out at some point. Putting a lot of work into this, a lot of fun,
Oh,
and I had a
gosh,
lot
that
more fun doing
stupid
that.
video. That stupid video.
Mhm.
So
No, it's
Luka,
fun.
what
Yeah.
was your record at the end of the day? Do you know?
I don't know. I kept track for the first 2 days because I started off like 23-2, so that was like really really good for
That is
like the
super good.
start. Yeah, and then day 3 was when things got wonky because I just ended up trading wins and losses back and forth. Like I think probably somewhere like 30 to like 35-10 would probably be sound right because I played
Oh,
all my
you played
games.
all your games? Okay.
I played all my games just because like because of how high I was with like the win loss, I needed to win like 2 to make up for every single loss I got.
Yeah.
Like it was legit that bad, and then it ended up getting to a point because like for me at least like the GC didn't matter too much in terms of like I already have my worlds invite, so like in terms of like getting 10-20 points that didn't really matter. But if I wanted to like somehow put myself into day 2 contention, I needed to just go as hard as I possibly could.
And that you did?
Like 50, 60 point. Like I need to aim for like bare minimum top 8 if I want to like even like scratch it. So I was like, I have to play all my games. I have to take as many risks as I can. Like, and I think that's the big thing that like will like put you into 1800 is I think you should play all your games. Like obviously you run the risk of like going lower and like not coming back, but like you'll never break through into 18 unless you like take the risk to like play all your games. Like
Hell yeah, I like that mindset. This is something that Nails says like every time that like somebody posts in the chat like yeah, here he is, Nails. I wish you were here to
Mhm.
speak on it, but like yeah,
Mhm.
anytime somebody posts in our group chat like I'm at so and so, should I keep going? He says play all your
Mhm.
games, play all your games.
Play your games, yeah.
Um,
Like I see people.
I just disagree.
so
Yeah.
to be fair though, something that I hear from Adi always when we get into these type of discussions is he always says, "Do you think you can go +1?"
Mhm.
Because like some people will be like, I'm doing really well. I'm 25-5. I've got 15 games left. I guess is what that would be. And then
Yeah.
they're like, but I think this is just outside of the CP region I want to be. Then Adi always says something along the lines of like, do you think you can go +1 in your games? And by that I mean just winning one more than you lose.
And to clarify that means that if you 25-5, you have 15 games left. At any point in the next 15 games, if you have a winning record in those games, then you have probably gone positive in terms of your rating, right? And so it doesn't matter if you lose the next 3 as long as you end up winning more than you losing overall in those 15. That's the mentality. And so when you're getting to like 4 games left, 5 games left, that's when I start to think about, okay, maybe I should stop because I don't think that there's a decent chance that I, lose 1, lose 2, and I don't make that up. But with 15 games left, you can always go +1. Just unless you're like getting very lucky and feel like you're severely outclassed at this rating range, you should always be able to go up +1 just by like random variance to some extent.
Yeah. I'd say I got like incredibly lucky in like my last few because like I was at like 1730 with like 7 games left. I'm like, I have to win out if I want to break 1800. And thankfully, all of my opponents were either at my level or higher, which like
Ooh,
for
let's
the
go.
rest of my remaining games, which was like crazy. I kept getting 1730, 1740, 17. I'm like, all right, I just have to keep going. And like I will say the one thing, I'm so thankful that I kind of played a bit of Showdown before the IC because there were like 2 or 3 like teams like up on high ladder Showdown. I fought so many Japanese Hail teams and like there was like 6 and I fought that so many times on ladder, so I knew how to play against it. And 3 different times I fought the same Vivillon Ting Lu team with Hail.
That seemed
like
everywhere. I was watching
it was
streamers
everywhere.
and they kept running into it. It was like,
everywhere. It was like they don't have sleep powder on Vivillon. I only won because I knew that because I just led bundle backs. I just icy when Ice Skill Crash. I didn't fear powder at all, and like that was the only reason I was able to like clean those games up because I knew I fought it on ladder. I knew what they were gonna do.
Yeah. It seemed like it was just like kind of earthquake spam next to Vivillon, and then to clean up with some blizzard spam. With the Bomb Stone bundle. Yeah, I saw quite a few people. I don't know what the memo was on that one, where everybody was just like, this is what we're running, like that maybe there's like team building groups in Japan that just like all go in on the same teams. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Citrus Chenpao? I don't know. I don't know about that.
I
Paul.
fought one. I fought one of those. Fire Terra Citrus.
Fire Terra Citrus Chenpao.
Yeah, because I was like facing down with my Flutter, and it was like Chip, like, all right, awesome. Flutter gets the he just Terras, and I bring, and like I'm I'm playing this game, and I was like, me and Ashton were like hanging out over like the weekend, like playing the GC together, and like I just like he just looks at my screen and just makes like the face as like the citrus berry procs. I'm like, yeah, I'm just like I don't know how to respond, man. I'm like,
hell yeah. I remember doing that. It's been a minute since I've done something like that. Back in like the 3DS era, I remember Kamal and I hung out for one of the ICs, as we called them back then. Just like talking about like the stupid shit we were facing. It's a great time.
I gotta. Oh, on my other cart, like I was just having fun with my other card because I was using like a Braviary team. I was just like, it's funny. Scarf, you outspeed KO Flutter, you get +1s from Arcanine. It's the balance answer, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I really wish we could clip it because it was on Ashton's stream and it was the most insane interaction that's like ever happened in like any of my games. Like it was like I was facing down a belly bolt and a crocodile. Don't ask. As I switched in Braviary as in crocodile, I got the +1 on my Define. Awesome. His mirror orb activates. You get the +2.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, okay, scary. The belly bolt's quick claw procs as
Yes.
he T-bolt KOs my Braviary. As I was like making a turn read, I'm like, okay, I'm going to Glaive Rush in the crocodile. He's probably going to Terra. I'm gonna cover to the Terra. He tears into Fairy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he rock slide punches my back. So everything that just could have gone wrong in that turn did. And I was gone. That was the most insane game of my life.
Ashton actually ran something pretty wild in this. I thought Ashton did well, maybe not well enough to make it into this list, but I thought Ashton did pretty well. With like a Wo-Chien, there was like Terra Normal Dragapults, like there was
it was Terra Normal double edge with Disable, and then he had Sand Tomb at Powdon.
there was some, honestly, that was some old school Ashton. That's the Ashton that I miss, that ran stupid stuff. That was so cool. Speaking of stupid stuff, there's a decent amount of stupid stuff in this list. I'm looking for it. It was like 50th something.
Oh, do you not see the Fluttermane Mischievous team?
That's it. That's the one.
69. Yeah, at 69th place, couldn't be more fitting.
Wait, is it 69th? Oh my
yeah,
god.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's Fluttermane Mischievous. Like, anytime I see a Mischievous after Fluttermane, I'm like, it looks so naked. I don't know why. It looks peeled. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I'm looking at this team, and I can't even figure out, like, what I know that this Mon does is it has Levitate, so you probably Earthquake next to it, and 2, it's slow and has Trick Room, so you probably set Trick Room with it, but this team, 1, doesn't have a natural Earthquake Pokemon. I definitely could see the Terraground backs on this. And then this is definitely not a Trick Room team. So, like, what are your secrets, Mr. Miss?
I think it was, like, maybe, like, Wisp Hex with, like, Pain Split or something like that. I don't know. I think there was something like that. I have no. I'm just making guesses right now.
Sempra, by the way, you can find this on Liberty Note. If you don't follow Liberty Note on Twitter, I definitely recommend it. They always keep you up to date on what is going on in the Japan circuit.
Yeah, no.
I got you.
Oh yeah, there's the link. Cool. Yeah, so let's see, what other GC things do we have to cover? We talked a decent amount about Luka's run. Wait, did you post another tweet with your 6 Mons? Maybe later.
I posted one of my, like, the ranking, and then I posted one with the 6.
Here we go. Yeah, okay. No Citrus Berry. Where's the Citrus Berry?
So on all the teams I've done well with, I haven't had a Citrus Berry.
Where's your Citrus Berry?
Oh,
I haven't
Mr.
had a
Fiskett.
Citrus.
Mr. Fiskett Shadow Sneak. You can Shadow Sneak your Fluttermane's weakness policy.
I guess.
Lead both of them?
Man.
Both of them?
Just lead both of them. It'd be the funniest thing, and then you Shadow Sneak.
That is pretty beautiful.
That's like flower tricking your Anger Point Water Tauros to do 90% to yourself.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down.
It's a Mischievous, dude. It's got a base 60 attack stat, which is, I think, higher than Fluttermane.
It's higher than Fluttermane's defense stats, so come on, man.
Oh, I just realized Raghav called out the no citrus either. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Rocky Helmet Shroom anyway. Rocky Helmet's so awesome into like Gen
I
Pao
think
stuff.
I think it's great into Chen Pao stuff, which sadly is dying down, so I might have a reason to run Citrus, but I think it's also really good into Palance because
Mhm.
over the course of like a long game, Citrus is probably not as valuable when you're constantly switching out, regenerating anyways, intimidate cycling. But like the chip that you get on like opposing Arcanine, like you come in with your own Arcanine, intimidate them, they do like 60. They take like 50% on their own Arcanine.
Yeah.
And then you just switch out and you do it again. Like Amoonguss applies so much passive pressure like that. Like I really like that.
Yeah.
So like
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Helmet.
you know,
Wait, did you explain it in the team report, or have you not gotten to explain the whole? I have not been taught why it is black glasses and why it's not Lumberry.
yeah. So
Watch the team report.
Is it in the team report? Is it in the team report?
Yeah.
I don't watch any of
I-
your videos, Adi. You know this.
I can give the rundown, but basically like Blum is decent. It is good into balance stuff. Like, and it might be like even a little bit better than Black Glasses. The thing is, it's not a significant enough to warrant Lum, I think, because if with Black Glasses and like Dark Terra Black Glasses, you don't really care about being burnt. Like, like the damage you do is so much. Like, if you burn King Gambit and you get the +1 in the process from Arcanine Intimidate, like you still do 70 with Kowtow. You
Yeah.
still two-shot Amoonguss. Like, and if they burn you, that also means you can't get Spored, which
Yeah.
in my opinion is way more valuable. If you get burned, I'm like, cool, I can just set up a Swords Dance in front of the Amoonguss. Like, and now it's just free. Like, I don't even have to worry about it. I'm at +3, and now I can just proceed to one-shot the whole team while burnt. Like it really it doesn't matter, and it also means it's a lot more valuable in other matchups where, like, for like if they don't have an Arcanine or if they don't have an Amoonguss, like the damage you have is just so much, and like there's so many damage calcs that you miss out on. Like it's a role to actually be able, and this one of my GC games. You have a role to KO Chen Pao with Kowtow Sucker Punch.
Okay.
And I won a game because I KO'd with Kowtow Sucker Punch. Like Lum wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to get the KO on Terra Fairy Flutter with a +2 Sucker Punch. Otherwise, like you just can't. You need to get a +3. Like there's just so many. It's just better into matchups that aren't balanced when they don't have Intimidate because you have like the extra damage, and it's just not better enough into balance to warrant it. Like I think the raw damage is just so much better.
I think Lum at +3 or +2 or whatever. Just Oko's Terra Fire Chen Pao with Citrus Berries.
This is true. This is true. But hopefully you don't have to worry about that too much.
Okay. So let's see. Was there any other? I don't know if there's any other GC things. We might come back to it and to note. Well, I guess we got time. We can look through and see if there's any other cool teams that are noteworthy. I saw there was at least one Vivillon team. Funnily enough, I mean, I know that a lot of the results aren't publicized, and that's because Japan has another GC. They might be running the same team, and so they don't always go about saying what teams they were using. But I did not see any of that Vivillon team. Okay, it looks like there's probably one of those Surf Dozo teams with Pelipper Dreadnought here.
I fought a Surf Gyarados next to Weakness Policy Tinglu.
That is pretty cool. I'm down with that.
That always screws me up. Anytime I see Gyarados Tinglu, I just have to like fear, like, are they gonna do it? I don't know.
Yep. Let's see. There's a Treads. Somebody did do well with the Treads. I gotta respect it. I think Kyle Livinghouse was using Treads as well. Cool Jugulus Treads team.
I fought a decent amount of Orthworm. Like there was a lot of Orthworm actually.
Let's go Worm. I love the Worm.
Like it's low key like scary because like the only way to deal with it effectively is like with special attackers, and like you know they usually they pair it next to Tinglu. So like it can actually like be hard to deal with if you can't like either deal with the Tinglu really quickly or deal with the Orthworm really quickly. And like they set up like Iron Defense, so like that was actually I didn't like facing Orthworm for that reason, just because I kind of have to rely on hitting pumps up versus it too with Bundle, which I also didn't like.
Yeah, I used Worm in my first GC. It didn't go as well, but I'm gonna say that I was the father of the Worm, even though people probably got it from other people. We got a Vivillon team in 73rd with Scizor as well and Brute Bonnet. Just a lot of interesting Pokemon there.
Oh my god. Rep the bug types.
They did have a couple of bugs. And then Sand. We got a couple of there's that that one jump left team. It's got a couple of modifications to it, but I think that team's pretty real.
I heard there were so many jump luffs running around, and like a few of my friends were using jump luff in the IC. Like just for like fast spore and tailwind, or like sleep powder and tailwind.
Let's see. I think I saw an Orin Guru. Shout outs to Adi for that one. Let's see. Okay, back to it. Yeah, Orin Guru, Azu, some good Pokemon there. And yeah, other than that, just a couple of like ones here or there. I wish that like retroactively they would go and post their teams. Maybe they will once you know, they've actually qualified for the circuit or not, because I just know that there's like so many crazy teams that people have seen in these tournaments, and we can't kind of apply all of it to the circuit over here because we're playing open team sheet best of 3. But there are definitely stuff that like you can modify. You can say like, oh, you know what? Actually, that is a pretty real team idea that would work even in open team sheet best of 3. And so it's always fun to steal inspiration from Japan because they just do such wild stuff.
Yeah.
But moving on, we also had the Rutgers local that we wanted to talk about. That Jody ended up winning with a stupid team. He talked about this in advance. His team is fine. Just this picture, it's so silly.
The 6 switches.
Yeah, June. It was true. He was saying like as soon as he won, he was like, "Bring me 6 switches." Like,
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear it on the commentary.
wait, really?
They're trying to. I was watching. They're trying to get him over there for an interview, and they're like, he was like, hold up.
I had to do it before everybody left, you know.
I think someone in the Twitch chat, I didn't notice it at first, but they said the commentators were quiet and it sounded like golf commentary, and I just couldn't get that out of my head. That like like I kind of like the golf commentary vibes of just being like nice and soft.
Yep. It's a little bit of ASMR commentary.
Yeah.
So Jody actually was talking about this, like when he saw all these TCG players posting their like deck lists in wild ways. Apparently that's the new trend over there. It's like they'll just
I saw a bunch of those. They look crazy. Someone put their entire deck in a fridge, I think, and like opened it up.
See, that's awesome, and we can't really do that here. It's something that actually I've talked about with Duck Pond a bit. When we always mock people who post like the it's just like your 6 Pokemon in the box, because it's like there are just better ways to show off your 6 Pokemon. Like it just, the focus isn't enough on them. I like when people do the picnics and show off their 6 Pokemon. I like when people like go to the Pokemon Center and heal their guys and then do that. And yeah, Jody was just like, all right, I got to do something wilder. And he wanted to do 6 switches. He said this, and then it went to the local and won so he could do it. So here it is. Here's the full team. It was a rain team, rain with Hands and Amoonguss. Those are Pokemon that we often see on rain, I would say, and then Flutter and Chi-Yu. Those are Pokemon that we often see on teams in Regulation C. So
in general, yeah.
And yeah, pretty solid. Yeah, using a bit of a rain team. I think he said it was like slightly inspired by what the Errands were doing at maybe EUIC. I think Aaron, Zeng, and Trailer both ran something like this. I'm sure Jody talked about it more in the interview. If you want to learn more about that, and can always talk to him about the actual team. And then we had the results. Let me see. I think I have them in the doc, and I don't really care when people see the doc on Tub Takes, guys. It's just a Google Doc. It's no big secret. But here we go. So the actual results of the tournament: Jody played against Tyson Hughes in the finals, and we saw John Valentino and Alexander Popperma got top 4. Luka Paz, Kyle Gardena, Blake Falls, and Liam Cotter rounded out the top 8. And some pretty interesting stuff here. Maybe not necessarily in second place from Tyson, but you know, we got the slight balance variation with Fire Tauros, and Garganacl isn't like as common as it has been these days. And then we've also got another rain team in top 4. Interesting enough. Who did Jody end up playing? I don't know. Was it a rain mirror in top 4 or was it not? Do you remember, June?
He played against John Valentino, so he played the Garganac.
Okay, so he didn't play the rain mirror. Gotcha. I also didn't realize Luka Paz was in the area. Is he like from around there?
Yeah, he's also a New Jersey local.
Okay.
So you see him at like New Jersey events.
Man,
And
New Jersey
he
is just
was
so
the
sweaty.
6-0 here.
It is just so sweaty.
Definitely. See all the Justin Karras post with if you take the top 12 in CP, 4 of them would be in New Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like there was
fun.
no. I think James Evans just wasn't in attendance. Justin Karras and Chuppa were there, but on commentary. Was James Evans there?
Yeah. James Evans was there. He didn't play. Paul Chula was there. He didn't play.
Okay.
Justin Karras
Just vibes.
was there. Yeah, just vibing.
All
It
right.
was like-
People just hanging out, wanted to watch some games. I respect it. I mean,
It's all the people that have the world's invite. It's like, what, you know.
at least there's that. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't any championship points here, to be fair.
But yeah.
But it was like a lot of people that I guess just wanted to just hang out, watch some mons. Nothing wrong with that. And maybe take a bit of a break, considering this was literally the same weekend as a online tournament, and we've had tournament after tournament these past couple of weekends.
Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, result wise, I guess Blake Fall's team is like pretty nuts. I definitely say no pun intended with the Garganackle staring at me. Take it with a grain of salt, because it is at the local level, and so like you might see some wild stuff doing. And we're not gonna cover premier challenges once those come back in full swing, results wise. But it's just like kind of fun to just talk about locals coming back. We already talked about it plenty earlier, but was there any other points that we missed when we were talking about stuff earlier, June? I don't know.
I
trying to
guess
think.
like I'm just like the one thing I have is I went through like majority of the team list here and I compiled some like funny stuff that I saw or something interesting. It's like top 8. As you could see, there's a Flutter main on every team.
There is a Flutter main on every team. That's true.
Yeah.
And then when you go to top 16, it's 14 out of 16 have Flutter main.
Hey,
Which is,
Amogus
like,
is dodging some serious allegations here. It is on 7 out of the 8 teams.
It is-
So.
True. What else was very noticeable? Top 8, there was only one Dondozu Tatsugiri from what I've seen, and he
Mhm.
managed to top cut, which is like, okay, that's pretty interesting.
That
especially-
sounds right at the local level. I mean, like the thing is like you got to have a dozo specialist or not. That's how it is. Choppa wasn't playing. Choppa would be up there. If he was
true.
playing.
Yeah. Like, I can't play Dozo to save my life, if I'm gonna be honest. I just can't.
I'm honestly, I could probably. I haven't tried to bother learning it because like just put me to sleep, man. Like it's just who wants to play singles? I'm making one decision every turn. Come on.
It was solely for the Dondozo mirror that I never wanted to learn about it. After hearing about how like Ashton would go to time anytime when in Series 2 when he would play Dozo opposing Dozo, I'm like, do not want to do that. I never want to do that.
I remember, I just remembered this tweet. Somebody was doing some analytics on EUIC, and I wanted to pull it up just because I thought it was funny. 7th place in items. Like, safety goggles, the number 1 item. I guess that kind of makes sense. I
Makes
thought
sense.
Citrus Berry would be higher, but Assault Vest, number 2, also kind of makes sense. Booster Energy, I find that funny just because of, like, it being a item that is only usable on certain Pokemon, but it's so common because those Pokemon are broken. And then 7th place is an item that is used exclusively on one Pokemon. And that's just how often the Pokemon is represented. It's Mystic Water being the 7th most common at EUIC is just so funny. To be fair, like I could maybe see Super Berries out doing it if they were all compiled. That they never compile those results wise because like Figgy Berry and a Guave Berry are technically different items and you have to run different ones on certain Pokemon. But I do think that's really funny. And thinking about like past years and like I obviously we went through a whole year of Dynamax and restricted and stuff, but leftovers being where it is super interesting to me, because like leftovers I don't think was that common in like 2019 years and the years before that. 2019 was a legendary year. I guess I should kind of like discount that one too.
Yeah.
But you know, like 2018, 2017, and all in 2015, 2014, I feel like leftovers wasn't as common. But now it's becoming.
Gen 7, at least, we had the super citrus berries, and those were just significantly better.
That's true.
Right, you just put those in everything. Yeah.
But
And the
only
Dynamax
biggest-
is too fast paced. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The only case example I could think of where lefties was like relevant was like back in 15 with like sub lefties heat ran. Like
Yeah.
that was like the only like mainstay time I remember like sub or like
I think Aegis
I guess
ran it
yeah
sometimes.
/2 yeah sub lefties Aegis any mon that had a substitute, it was pretty easy to warrant running leftovers on them like back in the day. But those were like the biggest cases of using leftovers. It was just like substitute mons.
Yeah, that's a good
One
point
other
to
thing.
now. Honestly, the pinch berries might be below lefties, and just like because Dondozo is just such a common thing that like it's also bringing those lefties numbers up. But you see some other Pokemon in the current format running it. Wo-Chien and Garganacl are the main mons that I see vying for that item. I can't.
I'd
think
say
of anything else.
Wack
sometimes.
Goldengo.
Well, Goldengo, that's another good one.
One other thing that's I think rising leftovers popularity is that
Annihilate, yeah.
and this was also true in Gen 8, but in Gen 7 and Gen 6, we had our item slots kind of clogged up because of the existence of Megastones and Z moves, and so you only had 3 to 4 items per team, because you always had a Megastone, you always had a Z move on your team, and so the fifth best item was not seeing as much play. Or this in this case, leftovers being the 8th best item, it wasn't going to see as much play because every team had a Megastone or 2. And now that's not the case, and we saw that in Gen 8 too. And I thought it's one of the like fun things that I didn't get to experience starting in 2015, where now you have to really look for what is the 6th best item, instead of putting put your Megastone, you put your Z move, put your Citrus Berry, you put your Gen 7 just put your Super Citrus on everything. And now it's like, okay, like Gen 8 especially was like, okay, how do I rearrange my items so I get to use 6 good items? Or like what item am I running on this bad Pokemon, or what bad item am I running on this Pokemon? We talked about some really, really bad items on our
Amoonguss.
on our team.
That was
on
awesome.
Amoonguss.
Berry. We were
Javoka Berry, yep.
Javoka Berry.
You did run Bright Powder.
I mean, I brought
that's the
Bright
type
Powder.
of.
It was sick in the one matchup that I wanted it for. I want you to know.
I think once I got sent a paste that had Yachi Berry Gyarados, which is just the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I do think that bundle is a little bit messed up. Like Lapras was never a problem because it didn't have like the offense or speed. And like you don't realize that like freeze dry plus water is actually like what type do you turn into? You have Terra, you can do whatever you want, but there's no type that will save you.
No. Like most Amoonguss are water, so they're weak to it anyways, like no matter what.
Yeah.
Like the fastest freeze chance in the game is also very fun.
Ooh, that is a lot of fun.
Like I got like 1 or 2 freezes in my IC run. Very fun. Very fun. Like that just coupled with the insane speed and Hydro Pump being able to one-shot super effective things. Like it's just there's times where it's underwhelming, but then there's also times it's just oppressive. There's like kind of no in between. It's either kind of a little underwhelming or just insane.
Reflective Jade, by the way, Bolt Beam does have like resistances. Notably Magnezone, I believe, is like one of the only ones. I can't think if there's another one.
Lantern.
Let's go Lantern. Wait, no, but Lantern's like with an ability, I guess. But yeah, I'd still count it.
Yeah, at least I mean the thing with Bolt Beam, the one Mon's running Bolt Beam usually didn't have stab on them, like Porygon 2 or something like that. Like bundles got stab on both of them.
Yeah, I mean, is there even a Mon that gets stab Bolt Beam? Just Rotom Fridge, right? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Probably like Rotom Fridge, yeah. Electric coverage is gutted.
Yeah. Shadow Ball plus Moonblast, honestly though.
It's the same thing.
Shadow Ball plus Moonblast is messed up, and like we weren't supposed to get a Pokemon with stats like this. The 2 Pokemon, let's quiz the call and see if you can name the 2 type combinations that are like in the game that resist it. Do you guys know
Uh,
which?
Ghost and Fairy.
Yeah, Fluttermane's coverage.
Oh, there was this Ghost and Fairy.
Um,
I'll take the typing or the
wait,
mon.
No, I know the
No,
one.
I'm
I
not
know one of
quizzing
them.
you because I think we've talked
Okay,
about this so
okay.
many times in calls.
I've
Um,
propped up one of these Pokemon so much that I gotta.
okay.
I'm trying to think right now. This
Yeah,
is
They've had
This
30
is-
seconds, so now I'll open up the chat. Chat, feel free to participate if
This
you want
is-
to.
Shit.
yeah. This is a hard one. It's got to be like a.
Don't worry, the
Is there-
mons are dog shit, so you're not missing out.
Okay. Okay. So long as
We got one.
Okay,
We got one in the
okay.
chat.
is
Pyroar.
there Pyro.
Fire Normal does actually own Fluttermane. And there's the
is
other
it
one.
Doodle Pokemon?
Is that
from
another-
Meme.
Doodle Pokemon, right?
Is there a normal type that's dual type?
And yeah, the other one is Grafii.
Yeah, there we go. The Doodle one. Yeah.
the ultimate Fluttermane counter that really sadly, Doodle does not work on Fluttermane. You cannot steal its photosynthesis.
Yeah,
That's just
you
not how
can't.
it sucks. I
And
was
Moonblast
building
also,
on
like,
that when it came out.
It's a unique.
I think Moonblast also like 2 KOs.
You do
Oh,
get two
so
shot by
sad.
Moonblast.
Yeah. What
you take
doesn't,
60.
though?
Like, if they gave
Uh.
us defensive fire normal or defensive normal poison, like just
Mm-hmm.
we might have been able to withstand the Fluttermane onslaught,
Yeah.
but as is, we're going to be dealing with 80% Fluttermane for quite some time.
Yeah.
79%, 58% Amoonguss. I'm excited to see what the next major will be. I mean, the next major is Portland, and that's like it's gonna have regional flavor to it. Like it's NA. Maybe things will be a little bit different, but the results of that one are gonna be so stupid. Especially with how the results of EUIC shook out, and it's just balanced central.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting a bit lost though. We were talking a bit about the Rutgers event. I think we kind of talked about all those. Let's move on to the next one. There was this Granada tournament that I actually do have all the results from this Granada gaming tournament that I know like Roxon was playing in. That's actually the only way I would have known about it other than Len tweeting about winning it. It was like this like Yokohama win-a-trip tournament. The first place prize was a flight to Worlds. So pretty awesome. That's a pretty serious prize considering how expensive it is to fly to Japan from most anywhere, I feel like. And so yeah, we actually ended up seeing the you could say Trick Room team win, but like it was also like a Dondozo team. Where is it? I'm getting lost. I guess it's in the tweet. I'll just pull it up in the tweet and go back later. And yeah, Len continuing to innovate on this Trick Room core. Strangely enough, and it's got that. I guess like what Len is saying now is the core team is Hat and Didi, King Gambit and Torkoal, and we've seen him try out a number of different Pokemon in the last 2 slots, but now it's just Dozo Tatsugiri with Choice Scarf and Choice Band.
Choice Band.
Yeah. Oblivious, Choice Band, Dozo. Honestly, I gotta respect it, especially because this is something that I was thinking about back in Series 0. Like, we were like, we weren't even sure how good Dondozo was going to be with its commander and everything, but what I was looking at is I was like, well, this mon gets Wave Crash, Oblivious, it's immune to Intimidate, and it's got a Trick Room speed stat. Maybe this is a Trick Room Pokemon, and like, sure enough, I don't know if this Dondozo has, like, that's the thing that interests me most about this team is, does this Dondozo have speed investment, or was it designed to also still be used in Trick Room? And I do think this is really interesting, cool, definitely some cool innovations from Len, just saying like, I've got my core, but I'm still perfecting it, and across multiple different formats. This, as he's been saying, this team is technically a Series 1 team. It's got no Paradox, no Ruins, but yeah, just really cool.
I think trying to make hard Trick Room work in a format where there are dark types everywhere, especially when there's also a dark type that literally reduces special attack, like, I think it's wild.
And there's also like a Moongus,
Yeah, there's a Moongus. There's just like the format just naturally has so much that's just anti like psychic and anti like Trick Room. Like that just makes it difficult to warrant. Like,
I actually
so
don't know
I mean,
who made it to the finals. I thought I posted the bracket. But...
Nail said, when Len finds out about Iron Hands, it's over for the rest of us.
like, yeah, like
That's just the world. He's just hoping that nobody realizes it for
no,
Worlds.
he's too preoccupied using Hariyama, you know.
I mean, the Hariyama team was pretty heat. Gotta
It
admit.
was pretty fire.
Like, look, if Iron Hands ever got guts in any type of hidden ability like upgrade for the Pterodoxes, it's over. It's just over.
Yeah, if Iron Hands had a ability that wasn't slow start, that might be crazy.
Yeah, like give Fluttermane Levitate, give Roaring Moon Intimidate, go for it.
I've said this before, maybe on the show, maybe not, but
Mhm.
at Fort Wayne, I played against Bundle Hariyama lead, and the bundle had electric terrain, and
Oh,
then I set up a bulk up with my Annihilate, and the wild charge did like 80%. Like I was +1, but it was like
yeah,
terrain boosted, ability boosted, Quark Drive, whatever. Like the Iron
Yeah.
Hands just does so much, and
yeah,
that is the one thing that Iron
The-
Hands has going for it is it's the only, I believe the only Quark Drive Pokemon to actually get the stab boost from
yeah.
from Electric Terrain. I don't think there's a fire type Protomon. That feels like it'd probably be easier to abuse. so I don't
Iron
think-
Moth? Oh, that's
No,
that's
that's
Quark Drive. Sorry.
yeah.
No, what's funny, Audie, is there are two backwards ones. There is Iron Moth, which is a fire type, but it's Quark Drive, and then there's Sandy Shocks, which is an electric type Proto. Two backwards ones, and then Hariyama
Yeah.
Iron Hands is the only one with
Mhm.
that type of
Like-
synergy with its own ability.
It really sucks that there isn't like a good user of electric terrain, like how we have Torkoal for Sun, so like we've seen Sun teams pop around, but like Pincurchin's not really usable
I
in any
think
way.
they just needed to give it just a little bit more. I think that
Mhm.
if Pincurchin had either one or both of these things, either Volt Switch and or Rising Voltage,
Yeah.
those both could have made the Pokemon a bit more playable. Its stats are still kind of terrible. Torkoal doesn't have great
Yeah.
stats to begin with either, but like Torkoal has Eruption. Rising
That's-
Voltage would probably help make up for it, and Volt Switch just
Mhm.
being a solid pivot move on a Pokemon with 5 base speed
Mhm.
would have been lit. But they really
Yeah.
just said like, no, you have to be dog shit, Pincurchin. You have to.
Look, all I'm saying, when Coco drops, bundle Coco, it's over.
I don't want to think about it. Okay. One thing that is very
That's okay.
much...
I'm leading my Regieleki into that and destroying it.
A lucky Chiyu? A lucky Chiyu?
Okay, shut up. You guys are
shots? One shots?
you guys are bothering. Okay, so I very actively do try not to think about like the what's funny is I think we even got a question about that.
Can I say one more? Can I say
Yeah,
one
go
more?
ahead. Oh, go ahead, of course.
Or Shifu Chenpao.
Urshifu Chenpao, yeah. Honestly, okay, if the only new Pokemon that I want to talk about, or like Pokemon coming to the game that gets me hyped and gets me excited, is Ursaluna. I want that thing. That thing is
I love
so...
Ursaluna. I love.
Salute,
I'm such a
please.
big Ursaluna fan. I want Guts, Facade, and Trick Room to be real.
Headlong Rush, like
Yeah.
that Pokemon's gonna be crazy.
He's probably not gonna be great, but I love him.
But yeah, I'm very much not the type. Like, I hate when people like the new format comes out or like the new games. Like you literally are booting up Scarlet and Violet in the first day, and somebody's just like, "Hey, imagine Terra Water Kyogre in the rain with Helping Hand," and like I'm just like, "All right, shut up." I'm like, "Shut up." I don't have to deal with that for 3 years. I don't wanna...
Flying Terra Blast Lando. We've all heard it.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at some of the other teams from this Granada event, I mostly wanted to talk about Len's team because, he actually won the whole thing, and we don't really have... I mean, we have open team sheets. I can do a little bit of translating. Some of the teams are mildly interesting. There's like a Corviknight. I actually don't know what this Pokemon is. That's probably... Brio Magico? That's Flutter. That's Flutter. Fuerza Lunar? That's definitely Moonblast. Yep. And then, we see the Sun team that, like, people have been kind of innovating off of Nail's team. So, not too much more to say about this event. Just thought it was worth mentioning because it had a pretty solid prize on top of it. And, actually a good amount of entrants as well. I think Len mentioned that in the tweet, but it was, 130-ish people. So, some big grassroots this weekend. And it just makes me all the more excited for, the real local level tournaments to come back. And with that, I think I want to head over to the last section that we have here, which is the questions people asked. We got a couple of them that I think we could spend a bit of time talking about. And let's start with we got a question from Bruno. I think that's how you say it. Which, how can we piss off another region this week? I think Adi was throwing a lot. I think
I
this was
just
on
told
Adi.
people to go to Latin America to play in their regionals, so that's the reason we're pissing off this week.
As soon as I
Yeah.
saw this one, I was like, it's literally so easy. We're gonna be talking about Latin America, like somebody's gonna do it. So, and then I think we got like 2 or 3 questions asking how to beat Palance or Palabalance or whatever, and I think we're all asking that question. I think we're all asking that question. I do think King Gambit is a good answer, but it's also like part of the problem because like then how do you beat Palabalance with King Gambit? Like you're the one.
I'm still trying to figure that one out, honestly.
Okay, you want the actual answer? I mean, the answer is like, you look at the team. It's always 5 physical attackers in a Flutter Mane, right? So anything that has a high physical defense is inherently going to do pretty well into it.
Whoa, Chien, Terra, Steel, Whoa, Chien. Or
Like
Poison.
you would think that a Wo-Chien, obviously Wo-Chien has the problem where it gets bodied by Flutter Mane, and so like part of why Orthworm is picking up in popularity, part of why Orthworm does do pretty well into Palance is it's got a base 145 defense stat and it OHKOs Flutter Mane, right? And that's also King Gambit, it's got a high defense stat and it threatens Flutter Mane. And so if you're looking for individual Pokemon that are going to do pretty well into the team, you should be looking along that route. I think where high physical defense stat can tank a couple attacks from most of their Pokemon, also threatens Flutter Mane.
Fortress. Fortress.
Yeah.
That's the one. It's got built-in safety goggles. It's got Volt Switch, Stealth Rocks.
It gets one shot Flare Blitz. It gets one.
Okay, you know what? I'm Terra Fire.
You Terra Water. Listen, everyone's Terra Water.
Yeah. I mean, Terra Water is just assumed. Like everyone is Terra Water.
Of course.
And so here,
Heavy Slam, OHKOs, some Flutter Mane, sometimes.
Shadow Ball probably OHKOs it back.
Terra normal, okay, it's fine.
Actually, yeah, Ting Lu is part of the problem. You're right, because somebody's asked, high physical defense stat, yes. OHKO's Flutter, yes. Why are we not just using 3 Ting Lus?
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, so a couple people asking that type of question. Let's go to this one. I'm going to ask this one, and then we're going to come back to it, because I want everybody to think about it, mostly because I don't have an answer, and I don't want to expect everybody else to have an answer. I should have done it ahead of time, but they said, I'd like to hear about Pokemon y'all want to return in the DLC. I'm personally hoping for some of the better Trick Room mons to come back, but I'm curious what y'all would like. And so we'll come back to that one, because I don't have an answer that I have off the top of my head. And then let's move on to this next one, which is seeing that Palance is being compared to past. This one, I had to read it because it was making me cringe. I'm sorry, Joshua, but like immediately it's just like any team gets popular. It's like, this is Chalk, this is Rinya, this is fake PG, it's Big Six. What do you guys think about it being comparable to Big Six from 2016 as the comp that had a lot more flexible slots with a solid core? Also, which dragon is the most based in the mirror? The second question, I had the answer already, and Luka stole it. The best dragon is, in fact, King Gambit. That is the flex slot that I think is strongest in the mirror. But yeah, I do think that they aren't entirely wrong in that, they're comparing it to Big Six, and like that part is silly, but it is a team that isn't exactly like a hard 6 Pokemon. It is like, probably boiled down to like 4 Pokemon at the core. And 3 of those are like Flutter Mane, which is number 1 in usage, Amoonguss, which is number 2 in usage. And I don't think Arcanine is number 3. Maybe it is. I have to double check. Maybe it is number 3 in usage. I have that picture.
It
is number 3 in usage.
Six
yeah,
again?
Arcanine is number 3 in usage, and it's the best Intimidate Pokemon in the format. So, like, I think that you can go almost anywhere from there. And then, like, Palafin is the 4th in usage and is the mon that finds its way on there. But, like, you can build teams like Luka did for the GC this weekend and swap out the water slot for, maybe another thing like bundle, like what is there any other water Pokemon besides Dondozo, Tatsugiri? I don't know, maybe.
Gyarados.
Gyarados, yeah. Then
Gyarados,
people
yeah.
start to do that if they like there's that other core that like I was trying out at EUIC, which is like Gyarados instead, and then like Chi-Yu in the fire slot. They do different things definitely, but at the end of the day, like fire, water, grass, and then like the other part of these cores are being built around like fairy, dragon, and then not exactly a steel, but like that fantasy core is kind of like prevalent in these sometimes. It's just like you're just building around good Pokemon, and so I guess like we could say it's comparable to Chalk, Rinya, and Big Six or whatever, but mostly it's just like the highest usage Pokemon being slapped together. I think Rinya wasn't exactly that. Chalk wasn't. Chalk was kind of that, I guess.
Chalk was kind of that, and Chalk also had a flex slot too. It was a 5-mon team,
Yeah, it
and
was
you
a
could
5-mon
put
team.
your Thundurus there, or your Azumarill there, or your whatever your favorite Pokemon was in the last slot, which does kind of fit the description of what we're looking at with Palance, where it is a 4 to 5-mon team. Some people feel like the Tinglu slot is more expendable than others. I know Nails is in chat here, but I think that the Tinglu slot is really, really important. And then you have that one flex slot that you get to play around to decide how you're breaking the mirror. And I'm pretty sure in Chalk, honestly, if you really wanted to, you could sub out one of the other Pokemon too. But
yeah, so it does feel pretty comparable to some of those other teams, but it's just always like silly because at the end of the day, like there are going to be teams that just pick the top Pokemon in usage and just put them all together. So, of course. Let's see. Was there another? Somebody said, "What are some good bits to do with locals coming back? Dumb jokes, meme teams, etc." I'm trying to think of things that.
Okay, so in 2020, Ashton went to a midseason Premier Challenge in Ohio, and he was playing on a dance pad.
That's true.
You can use any controller.
That is
he did do that. He did do that.
And you can technically play with any officially licensed Nintendo controller. So there was the Mario GDR dance pad that you can use for official locals. I don't know how that went. It's kind of hard to play. Also, your opponent can probably see what you're doing, but that's an option. I got DK bongos, the Nintendo DK bongos, but you do not actually have the functionality to click all the buttons with those. So I was unable to use those. But any quirky Nintendo controller you can use at an event if you really want to be special.
Jude, what's some of the stupidest stuff you've seen at locals? Do you have any thing that you remember from back in the day?
Unfortunately, no. That's pretty much covered. It was just the dance pads and the.
I'm trying to think of anything
the
dumb that
bongos.
I've personally done at locals. I don't think I've gone dressed in costume before, unless we had like, a Halloween premiere challenge. I can't remember.
At a local once, I just had like a decent amount of like mons that I'd used, so just in my box chilling to make ready to make a team. So I just had one person from each local just decide my mon. They just go into my box, they just pick my mon and just put it into my team. I ended up having like it was like a 17. I ended up having like both Milotic and Braviary on the same team.
No,
I had like
intimidate.
Kartana and Celesteela on the same team. I didn't have like anything else that was just like super relevant. It was just mons that like I being intimidate hard and like it just didn't make any sense. But like I just let everyone pick my like one mon for
That's
my team.
fun. I love
So
that.
you can just do fun stuff like that.
Well, but I remember like one time. This is just a random local story, but I remember one time that we had Gina enter to like make numbers so that we could get like a top 8 cut or top 8 CP or something. I don't remember. And so she just entered with her in-game Sun and Moon team. And I took a picture of the team sheet because we still had to fill out a team sheet. I took a picture of the team sheet and posted it on Twitter. And somehow that picture ended up in the background of a Wolf video. Of that team. I think he was just like talking about like team sheets or something, and he just used my picture. And it was just like Gina's in-game team. Every single Pokemon had a Z move, and it was Litten because she refused to evolve Litten past Litten because she did not like Incineroar and was a big fan of the kitten and was disappointed that it was no longer on 4 legs.
God.
Somebody asks how to make Trick Room good from Child of VGC. I think you just look at what Len's doing. We talked about that earlier. Otherwise, I am looking to try to do that myself. But, there's this Pokemon called Amoonguss. There's this Pokemon called Tinglu. There are things that get in your way that make things a little bit hard. You think you can, you can't do Armor Rouge anymore. That Pokemon's got canceled. And then, okay, so let's bring it back. I definitely still don't have an answer. But what is a Pokemon that you guys want to return in the DLC? I might have to look up an image of the Pokemon that. You got one?
I
on
can't
it?
wait for Metagross. I want Metagross back.
Metagross.
Why do you want Metagross back?
I want Metagross is coming back. I think in the first. I forget if it's the first or second wave, but I want Metagross. I think Metagross with Terra, it would be so sick.
That does sound awesome. P2, that is a great pick. I gotta respect that one.
Yeah, P2 would be so good.
P2.
I want.
It probably doesn't get two-shot by Moonblast. It'd be sick.
I want Weezing. I think that so much stuff is just so reliant on abilities.
So
Kudal has convinced me. I want Weezing back. Give me the boy.
All right, wait. We said what mons we do want. What mons don't we want?
Well, a Smeargle, of course, right?
My pick's Whimsicott. Please keep it away, please.
I don't want Whimsicott, but I also don't want like a lot of you said Regieleki, June. I don't want.
I don't want a Lucky either. Yeah,
I
Lucky,
don't want
Lucky can
Urshifu.
stay away.
Let me see. Not
a Lucky.
I don't want Urshifu. Urshifu should not exist in a Dynamax format.
It's so broken.
Don't give us Coco. Don't give us Coco, please.
Coco would enable all the Iron Mons. It'd be so insane.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like Coco's normally pretty chill, but when you have like a solid Bolt Beam core, like you mentioned, just that sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
But I want Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini solves this format.
Here's a fun one that this is just me scrolling from Gen 1 down, but Kangaskhan. I think Kangaskhan would be pretty cool just because like you have Flutter and we don't have like a good scrappy Pokemon. We have like I guess what is it? The bird. Flamigo. We have Flamigo and we have like I don't know, the scrappy enables it to close combat it. I think it still resists it because it's a fairy type.
It does.
Whereas Kangaskhan could fake out Flutter. Like so many and like you can fake out ghost types like Terra Ghost. No, that doesn't work. That would be so sick, I think, for enabling like a lot of different strategies. And Kanga's just like, I don't know, it's just got like good. And Scrappy also would make it Intimidate immune. It would just be like, just fun. I think they limited the distribution of a couple of moves, but like back in the day, Kang had Safeguard. Like I can imagine Fake Out Safeguard being pretty handy right now.
Oh, I'd love Zapdos. I just realized I'd love Zapdos.
Okay.
The one Mon, Great Tusk answer, Garchomp answer.
So good.
I found another one. Everyone always compares Fluttermane to Xerneas. Well, we got to bring back the number one Xerneas counter in Stack Attacka, and just set up Trick Room in its face and then Gyro Ball it to death.
Stack is lit. I like Stack Attacka.
And it's a fair and balanced Pokemon too because it loses to like Tinglu and it loses to like all the ground types except then you Terra. And then it's not weak to ground anymore, and then you body press the Tinglu. It's sick.
Terrifying.
That's wild. That makes me think Heatran too, because we've seen how busted Flash Fire Mons with Terra are. So like Terra Grass Heatran
is messed up.
To Terra Grass or Water or anything like. Oh my god, I want Heatran back.
Yeah, that would be so lit. Politoed is a Pokemon that would probably be pretty solid. Just nice to have the diversity. I mean, it would be really good on Parish teams. I'm a big Parish fan, so of course, that's something that I would be down for.
Incineroar.
All right, I mean, I don't even have that much beef with Incin.
I love Incin. I think Incin lets good players do good things, and I'll always stand by that.
We need a Rain Abuser. That's a good point, Nick. I scrolled over Kingdra, but like we don't have real Swift.
I'm always saying, the Floatzel Dreadnought teams are not good enough, and there's no other water type in this format that does anything. So we really just do need another water type that is very powerful.
Yeah,
maybe one with like a base stat total over 600.
It does feel like I think that they I really liked what we had, and this was because the Tapus were just introduced, but I really like what we had for weathers and terrains in 17 when that came around, because like they made new weather mons for that gen. That was so cool. Torkoal,
Yeah.
Vanillux, Gigalith, and Pelipper, right? I think were the new ones there. And they all like felt like they had enough of an impact in that format. I think we had 2 snow setters because we had Ninetales instead was the more common one, and it was it felt like all the weathers were viable in that gen. This gen, all the weathers at least feel viable enough right now, but the terrains are seriously slacking.
We don't even have all the terrain setters.
We don't even have them. I mean, we do,
like,
but we don't. We just don't. We don't have a Misty terrain setter at all, right?
We don't have a Misty, and technically we have a Grassy if you want to count our Believer, but like I don't.
I don't want to count it. I don't.
No. Like, and Pinkerton's just so like the only usable one is Indeedee, and like it just sucks. I feel like there'd be so much cool things if we had actual terrain setters. Give our Believer Grassy Surge, buff Pinkerton.
Cool.
Give Tinkaton Misty Surge. That would give it something.
I'm done with that. I was thinking like I want Galar Weezing because I think that Pokemon could be relatively interesting, but it might just get overshadowed by neutralizing gas then. I don't know.
I think neutralizing is just a lot more abusable than Misty.
But Misty just like does seem like really handy with how many status moves are being thrown around. There's a lot of Wisp, there's a lot of Spore.
That's true.
So would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I want the ice type that has a crazy Spadef stat and benefits from the hail boost or the snow boost more than any other Pokemon.
Ice?
I want Regice in space 200. Are you killing this thing?
Regice does sound pretty funny.
God. Would there be any other? I have to look at like a list of ice types now because like I don't remember.
I mean, like do we have any Pokemon legal with Ice Body? Because I wonder if that could be any good.
I think Excalibur gets Ice Body.
Yo, why are we not doing that?
Yes. Yeah.
That other ability sucks. What is it?
Oh, of course.
Thermal exchange?
Yeah.
Who needs that? You can Terra Fire. Whatever. Yeah. No, that ability is kind of cracked.
You trying to run Wall Rain?
Yeah, that's where I'm at in the list right now, Adi. Don't come for me.
Rotom Frost, 107. Spadef, Loki.
Although the Ninetales would be cool. I did mention it earlier, but I didn't actually mention it being in the decks. The thing is we have a Bombasnow. A Bombasnow feels like just like weak enough to be in a regional dex, so I like that. It feels less and less like a regional dex every day now because of the Protomons and the Ruin Mons making the power so centralized. And I talked about this last time I was on Tub Takes. I think that like it would be nice to get the addition of some of the legendary Pokemon just so that we have like I'm usually such a regional dex fan, but you know, having more Pokemon to compete with these stupid Proto 570 BST things, it would be really cool. So in most cases though, like I do prefer regional decks, and like I think another thing that was missing from this regional decks was like, yeah, maybe some of the bad weather setters. Like I think maybe not like it's not bad, but like Gigalith does get kind of outclassed by T-Tar, but I think Gigalith would have been pretty cool. I am just kind of thinking back to 17 though. I just liked all the weather setters in 17.
Like I think Ninetales would be balanced. Well, I think it'd just be a good mon. Like I think giving the defense boost and having fast Aurora Veil, it wouldn't be broken. There'd be definite counters to it, but like it'd be good. It'd be a good mon.
Yeah, I'm down with that thing. That thing would just get OHKO'd by Mousehold. So, like, you know, there's definitely counterplay.
Yeah.
All right. I found the one mon answer to Palance.
Oh,
it's Cradilly. We need Cradilly back.
Yeah, does it get
Palpin can't touch it.
Steel move does it learn?
Can't touch it.
What steel move does it learn, Noddy? Tell me.
It doesn't need one.
Well, how's it getting rid of the flutter? The flutter's gonna do 8.
Let me see. Let's see. Surely it's got an attacking move.
You leech seed it.
The flutter? The flutter's doing 80% to you with Moonblast.
You heal like 8% with
you rock slide it, you know? You
Oh my gosh.
I think
power
with
it?
You Terra Steel.
You Terra Steel. You put a Tyranitar on your team, you set up a Sandstorm.
Are we I guess they already have DLC announced, but it's like post Worlds. Huh. Man,
yeah, it's after Worlds. So it's not gonna be till 2024.
Yeah. Whack. So whack.
Yeah, no. I did hear a rumor or like a speculation of like what the new DLC will introduce. I heard a speculation that we'll get like G-Max versions of Terras.
I thought that seemed like inevitable. They had to make some kind of like
What does that
special
even
ones,
mean?
right?
Which means like certain mons will get certain special effects with certain Terras. I imagine
So
like the
Charizard.
yeah,
Yeah, Charizard, of course.
Charizard gets the Omni type finally. Every type.
Like, are they gonna make it so that Mons can either Terra into 2 types? Are they gonna make it so that they like can
So what
use
I
a special
heard is
move?
you know how Terras get like the hats? I heard that like instead they'll be masks. You know, the teal mask. Like I heard that they'll instead be
So
masks,
that's
and then
saying
they'll have like
aesthetically.
yeah,
But
yeah. And I
but
think that
mechanically,
no,
what's
no,
it doing?
but no, but I think like that's how they'll separate them, and then we'll get like just special effects. Either like the moves will get special properties, or like they'll get special properties. You know, like how G-Max moves had like Charizard, Max Wildfire. You know, 1/6 damage each turn, something like that.
Mhm.
Like it's like I think they'll probably get like maybe grass moves will have like a special property if you Terra Meowscarada into a grass type or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying, give Skeleturk G-Max Wildfire. That's what we need. That'll save the format.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that we're gonna get like a official like PK hex or whatever. That is a good point. I mean, I'm still waiting to see what that actually looks like. But like, if that's a thing, that is probably the most game breaking thing we were ever gonna get ever.
Oh wait,
So,
official PK hex? What?
yeah, they're like talking about like that. I think that was like in leaks or something that there's gonna be like a way to create mons, kind of like either like a showdown style type of thing or whatever. But
That'd be insane.
yeah, so I mean, that would be the biggest thing they ever introduce. So push everything else aside. Man, we've been dealing with Lycanroc. Imagine if we had Excadrill. I mean, and it wouldn't stop Wahakoff. I know Wahakoff would still be Lycanroc main for life, but
I'm a huge Bahaka fan. I love that guy.
I'm a big Wahakoff fan as well.
Like anytime I see him pairing up the ladder, I'm like, that's my guy. That's my guy.
I was looking for the most recent Wahakoff team because I was like, maybe I should just be using that. Like, I'm very much in my, like, I have my Worlds Invite, I don't care anymore stage, and so I'm like, I want to load up Wahakoff at an event. That sounds funny.
Like
Jellicent was a Pokemon that I was pining for in Series 1. It was a Pokemon that I thought could be really cool. I don't remember exactly why. I mean, we didn't have Bundle and Flutter back then, so those you don't have to account for that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like it's such an interesting type combination, and it's a Pokemon that doesn't have the power level to match regional or national dex formats, but it's like cool in a regional dex, so it's kind of sad that it didn't make the cut there. And I don't think it made the cut in. No, it was in Sword and Shield. It was in Sword and Shield. I remember using it actually on early teams, and it was fun. So, fun guy. Yeah, I'm still in Gen 5.
I'm still in Gen 7. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, somebody said we need Dracozolt. I disagree entirely. I think that Pokemon and the fossils were balanced around Dynamax and the ability to double your health
they got worse. Right? So like
did they get nerfed
they rely on Hustle for their damage. And Hustle, the interaction with Hustle and Dynamax is broken, right?
Sure, but Dracovish,
never
like
miss your
Dracovish
moves.
is gonna be
Dracovish
messed
is
up,
still
man.
there, yeah.
Dracozolt though.
Sure.
Yeah, Dracozolt.
I don't know. Just run an Iron Bundle. You're fine. Dracovish isn't a problem.
Then he just Terras.
Yeah, Terra Fire. You can't burn.
Oh my
it,
god. Yep.
just...
Yeah.
Terra Steel. Yeah.
Man.
It's all right. If you can deal with the Wave Crash from Palafin, you can deal with the.
Yeah, I think Wave Crash might be stronger.
Yeah, Wave Crash is a move that wasn't supposed to be made, I think. Or they weren't supposed to give it to Pokemon they did.
No, they should have given it to Gyarados. Gyarados needs something, man. I think it needs Wave Crash.
This is
give it Flip Turn. Please give it Flip Turn.
Wave
Doesn't
Crash
need Wave Crash. Give it Flip Turn.
I posted this in my team building chat like the other day. Is like I used Gyarados at a UIC, and the reason that I think I'm over Gyarados and why I think I will just stop using it and just like if I want to intimidate, use Arcanine is simply because Waterfall doesn't hold up to Flare Blitz and the Wave Crash Pokemon. Like the support tools, I think are on par with what Arcanine can do. I think Taunt and T-Wave are very good, and I think its typing is very good. Its stats are good. I think it just doesn't get like when it actually has to like do damage.
It just can't.
It falls behind. Like I keep looking at like either like bulky flutters or like Chen Pows. Like it does less than half to them. And like I can't be doing that with my like physical attacking support Pokemon. Like I mean, when Arcanine just has this awesome 120 base power move, obviously it has secondary effects or side effects, but like Waterfall just so mid when like
Also, Arcanine has E-speed to clean up KOs it doesn't get. So, like, even though it's a support mon, it can actually get one-shots on things and, like, clean up. Like, Gyarados does... If it got, like, Aqua Jet, like, that'd be pretty legit. Like, you know, clean up the KOs you don't get with Waterfall. But it doesn't get a priority. It doesn't get an incredibly strong move like Arcanine. It doesn't... Like, it just... It's so... just give it something.
Give it
8
anything.
generations, it's gotten nothing. Like, it deserves something.
Ooh, let's get a Rockwanid in here. That guy, give it Wave Crash, give it Water Bubble, Terra Water.
Nah, Wave Crash. Nah, don't give it a Wave Crash.
That guy
Oh
sounds
my-
lit.
Terra Water Wave Crash with that thing in Trick Room. Oh my god.
Gyarados
We
check.
need that. Trick Room needs that.
Trick Room needs better setters. We need Cress. Like,
Give us Crest, please.
Do you think Crest would be good?
it'd be okay. The thing is, you know, Cress's stats got nerfed, right?
I did know about that. It was
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, it makes no sense.
I
Like,
think it
just-
might
Very,
be something
very
to do with the new
Combine.
move it gets.
it's
Because
not even that broken. It's just jungle. I mean, jungle healing's
Jungle
a decent
Healing is
move.
sick.
It's a good move, but it doesn't work nerfing Cress.
I don't know if it's worth nerfing Crest, but I think Jungle Healing is so lit. I wish I posted that joke tweet the other day where it was like, oh yeah, let's give Chiyu Eruption, let's give Glacial Lance to Chen Pao, Precipice Blaze to Tinglu, and then I was like, oh, what's a funny grass move? I guess Spore, and then I came across Jungle Healing, and I was like, wait, this is actually so fitting to this one, and this one seems like it would be allowed. It is like, for those that don't know, it's just this 25% healing on the Mon, its ally, and it clears status. Imagine if you had, like, your Wo-Chien just able to, like, Cleric away Spore, Cleric away Will-O-Wisp. I think that the ability to just, like, get rid of status like that while also having a really cool secondary effect of healing itself and the user, these moves sound so cool.
I think it would be a legit move. I just want more Trick Room setters. I do like Trick Room as a teaming concept, but it's just so hard to use in this format.
It's really hard, yeah.
Same.
Well, I think one of the things that, like, made Trick Room hard last gen, even though we were, like, you know, doing that me and Audio a lot, was like Dynamax being able to double the HP of any Pokemon, like, was like a lot. And Terra is not that dissimilar when it comes to stopping Trick Room. Like, oh yeah, I put Torkoal on my Trick Room team because I don't want to get owned by a Moongus. Oh, a Moongus is
Terra
a water.
Waters.
It's a water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that unlike Dynamax where it has the ability to just say, well, here's my do not die button on a certain Pokemon, and because Trick Room is such a limited, like, time frame, getting that much momentum stopped. Like, this is kind of like responding to that person who was, you know, like, how do I make Trick Room work? And yeah, I think these are the things that make it a bit hard. I should have just been scrolling through the Pokemon on stream. I realized that I wasn't doing this on stream. It's fine.
Like, it's also hard when, like, most of the best Pokemon in the format are really fast. Like, a lot of them are just really, really fast, so it's just hard to not warrant just using them instead. And, like, like,
yeah, they gave more broken fast Pokemon than I think they did broken slow Pokemon, I guess.
yeah, no,
I
like,
mean, they gave us Sendoza. What more do you want?
That's a broken
yeah, he's
fast,
slow,
that's a
right?
broken
Yeah,
fast Pokemon.
it's a broken fast.
They gave us Tinglu. That's a broken slow Pokemon. Iron Hands is a broken slow Pokemon. Like, they give us a decent number of slow Pokemon, but they give us a lot of, like, mid-speed Pokemon that are really good.
Oh, dude, I would take Duraludon right now. I think Duraludon, even though it's got a low special defense, it could be fun. Mainly, I'm just looking at the stalwart ability. Because, like, Moongus is everywhere, and, like, having a dragon that could just, like, hit around it, that's probably pretty cool. Steel typing, like, I mean, you might have to, like, put an Assault Vest or a Terra Steel on it to deal with the Flutter Mane, but that could be cool. Probably a bit too late. It's probably just, like, doesn't have the power to keep up, but
yeah, I think there's a lot of power creep with that.
what's this guy's stats? It's got, like, a mid.
That's the thing. There's a lot of cool Pokemon that you could use in a regional dex format. Like, it'd be really good in Series 1 and 2. But now it's just, like, a little power crept. We got stuff like Chiyu, stuff like even Chen Pao just kind of just overpowers it.
Those mons just changed the format of the game. Series 2 and 3 feel very different, in least in terms of play and how you approach games, just because of how. Yeah, I still love Series 2.
We didn't get enough Series 1.
Series 1 was really the best format. I think that, okay, I think that Series 1, if we had it for a little longer, the Dozo would have become a little too powerful and it would have gotten a little frustrating to play. But
Yeah.
at the time we left it, Series 1 was just incredible, and I wish we had it.
I love Tauros. Water was my guy. I loved him.
Tauros was cool. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
You know, like we were debating if Glamora was like broken or not. We were still like trying to figure that out. I think it was really, really good in Series 1.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we just didn't have enough time to figure it out. It would have been fleshed out so much.
Get rid of Dondozo in Series 1, and then that just sounds like the ideal way to play VGC. I'm so down. That's what I'm going to make my grassroots tournament be. We'll get like
just
5
Series
people.
1 no Dozo.
Series 1 no Dozo. I'm going to post it online, and I'm going to get 5 entrants, and we're all going to have an awesome time. I think that's gonna do it for this one, though. We rambled on plenty about stuff that we're hoping to see in the future. I am definitely looking forward to the future because I'm a bit of a Regulation C hater, but we'll see if it gets more fun with time. I mean, this is ultimately, we're not even certain this is the Worlds format, so that's always fun.
It's not, right? Because I think they said Series 4 would be Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, it's Series 4, but they have done it before where, like, Series X is the same as Series X plus 1, you know? Like, they could make Series 4 just the same. We don't know, though.
Yeah.
We don't know if, like, Home's gonna come, if they're gonna just say, like, yeah, it's actually, you know, using the stupid cover legends, or...
I think if it's Home and, like, we get Aleki and, like, the genies and stuff, Worlds is gonna be the most insane format of all time.
Stop! I don't want to think about those guys.
Like, well, not even just for the sake of those guys. We won't have a meta developed. People are just going to be throwing whatever they think works at the wall. Like,
honestly, I do think that it would be the stupidest Worlds to ever happen because we've always seen like somebody who's really good at the current format win Worlds. Like, or like, you know, like winning Worlds means that you have a great understanding of the current format. But if it's the first tournament of the format, that person could definitely go on to just like go X3 at all the remaining tournaments because they just used something that people weren't ready for at the time. And honestly, I do think that that sounds a bit cheesy, but it also sounds a bit beautiful. Like it just.
I think it sounds fun. Like I think it sounds like a beautiful mess. Like
I just think about how like Santi came out of nowhere to win Players Cup 1 with an arc. Like one, he was not a player that anyone like thought was going to win. He had I think a couple regional cups before that, but 2. You know, he used an archetype no one had seen before, and it was super cool to see. And nowadays, Worlds Day 2 is such a big leg up, and you get to scout teams and whatnot. I think it'd be really cool to see very little prep because it means that someone out of nowhere, someone you never heard of, is more likely to come out of nowhere and win.
I mean, I think that it would be an awesome experience. It would definitely make it feel like a different Worlds, not to like preemptively take away from the accomplishment. It just feels like it's testing different skills than what we've seen past Worlds do. And I think that but I do think that first tournaments and formats are incredibly exciting. That's why I've been like I made an effort to attend Dallas, which is a tournament that I don't normally go to, Dallas 2020. And then I made an effort to go to San Diego this year. These are like I don't normally like fly out to tournaments unless I'm like snowballing. But I wanted to fly out to those ones because being at that first tournament of a format experience is just so insane. So awesome. That at the world level could be really funny. I mean, only time will tell. Maybe we'll know a bit more after the third GC. I don't know. Like, what are we even going to know? People, I'm like, this week I might be booking my flight, but I don't even know I'm going to be playing. Like,
we honestly might not even know till after Nats or NEIC.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Man. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys for being on, June and Luka.
No problem.
And I guess Adi too, sure. And a reminder to everybody, this is gonna be on YouTube in 2 days. So make sure to go to CK49 on YouTube. And if you got in here late and didn't get to catch the beginning, that's where we'll be. Or if you want to watch it back, we would love that ad revenue or whatever. Make sure to click on all the ads. Make sure to don't skip them. I think
turn off your ad block. Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Join us channel member.
Yeah, do that too. Sub here and there.
You can sub here. If you want us to shout your name out right now on this in this very important YouTube video on this very popular channel, you should subscribe right now.
If you need my Patreon to just send money directly to me, just DM me. We'll work it out. And that's gonna be it for this one. If you guys have any shout outs, let me know. Luka, June, anything you want to shout out or nah? I've got your
Shout-outs
Twitters
to-
on the screen, so
Oh, shout out to all the locals that come out. Just go to your local tournaments, please. It's
that's
a
a
fun.
good shot.
It's just a fun, exciting thing to do. Just do it. And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good shout. Good shout. Anything for you,
Ju-
Luka?
Nah, just come to locals. Locals are where the fun stuff happens. Just go to locals.
Hell yeah.